dream.
And welcome back to the Georgia Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic. Furtah Prep versus Berkmar will be the next matchup. Thanks for joining us here on SUVtv. This is game 3 of a 5-game slate here today. We're at McEachern High School, the newly renovated gymnasium, Loving Good Arena. As you can hear in the background, the buzzer is working perfectly fine. Berkmar High School, they're in Gwinnett County, an area that's known for its athletic talent. Basketball, just one of the multiple sports that is known for. We have a guard core in Jay Estime, Zach Cooks, and Al Durham. That will be formidable to say the least. You look at their record last season, 20-9, 12-4 in a very tough region, a region that includes the likes of a Norcross, the Blue Devils, a perennial foe and rival for Berkmar. Starting lineups being introduced. It's Jay Estime. And rounded out number 15 there, that's Kashawn Swan. For Furtah Prep, at number 4, Luke Wagner. Number 20, Luka Joksic. Lazar Serovich. Number 11, Mark Chavelis Torada, and number 23, Emmanuel Brown. Furtah Prep was 16-3 last year. They lost to FPCA, First Presbyterian Christian Academy. They're in the Hinesville area in the playoffs. They're in the GISA, the Georgia Independent School Association. So when GISA schools go up against GHSA schools, I like to see that dynamic of the GISA program showing that, you know, we all hoop on two rims. Basketball is the same, even though the classification or the association is different. We'll see if Furtah Prep can take advantage of the stage here at McEachern High School. So we're getting the net down on one of the rims. We'll take a look at some of the players to watch here in this matchup. He was the game MVP with 35 points. A couple other guys that scored 20 plus in that contest were Jay Estime and Zach Cooks, who were there on the floor for Berkmar. Tip this one off, and looks like Furtah Prep will get the first possession of the contest. Risky pass. Furtah Prep retains possession. Cooks guarding the ball. Got a foul going to go against number 15, Kashawn Swan. Baseline drive, the wraparound pass. Pass going to be stolen there by Ben Samahoro. Samahoro comes up with the steal, and I think you're seeing early on the difference in pressure for what Furtah Prep might be used to seeing in terms of what they're seeing in this one. It's going to require some adjustment as Berkmar make them work pretty hard just to to run their basic offense there on that possession. 2 for $1 sale on threes. Both Durham and Cooks missing their first attempt. But I don't see getting the shots that they're looking for being an issue for Berkmar here in this matchup. That three-headed monster at the guard position of Cooks, Estime, and Durham. Outside of a stellar defensive night by the opposition, it really take being in self-check for them not to be able to put up points here in this season. That bucket was scored there by number 23. That's Emmanuel Brown. Estime puts it on the floor and one. That's some of what I was talking about in terms of what each of these guys brings to the table. They can all put it on the floor, create their own shot. They can all splash it from three-point land as well. Berkmar isn't the biggest team out there, so when it comes to interior matchups, that's going to be an issue for them throughout the course of the season. As Jay Estime heads to the line, three-star prospect, he will play Division I basketball somewhere. He has not committed just yet. The lone member of that talented guard trio that has yet to make his college decision, but numerous suitors out there after the couple years he's had, not only on the high school circuit, but also as a member of the Southern Stampede program. Some sort of discrepancy being discussed there by the officials. Now Durham throwing in there along the baseline. I'm sure he was watching that Indiana versus Kansas matchup last night. The future Hoosier seeing some of what he will become a part of. Well, they're at the next level. Two to nothing. And that one's partially blocked. Durham to Cooks. Cooks gets the step. Shot blocked initially, and he'll earn a trip to the free throw line. Cooks, the NJIT commit. Go to the free throw line for a chance to see a couple fall through. You don't see Cook to miss too many free throws, taking a while to get warm here at McEachern. Both teams trying to get up and down and get loose. Splits the pair of free throws and makes it 1-2. We're under the 6-minute mark here in first quarter action. For a rundown of today's event so far, Meadow Creek defeated the Heritage School in the opening game. Game 2. It was a victory by North Cobb Christian, a convincing victory over Cartersville, as Demir Brown had a great game for the Eagles. North Cobb Christian winning by 20+. Cooks lays that one up with the left. So Cooks with his first score from the field. Furtah Prep just having trouble getting good shots on goal. They get a pretty decent one there and the offensive rebound. And they'll get another opportunity. Timeout on the floor, so we'll take one with them. Coach Greg Phillips and Berkmar with a 3-2 advantage. We'll be back with more Georgia Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic.
I got a high ankle sprain going for a rebound.
Injuries are part of playing.
I got hit catching a pass and broke my collarbone.
So it's good to know that the sports medicine doctors, therapists, and athletic trainers at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta are experts at treating young athletes. If your child suffers any kind of sports-related injury,
I got hit and dislocated my shoulder.
bring him to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Back out of the timeout. 4:38 and counting. Cooks taking cookies, trying to save it now. Long pass goes right to Emmanuel of Furtah Prep. Reinforcements coming in out. Durham called for the foul. Looked pretty clean, but the official with a much better angle than the one I had, so. That'll be a trip to the free throw line coming here for number 20, Luka Joksic. If you're Furtah Prep, you have to take advantage of these trips to the free throw line. You know, both teams got to hit their free throws, but scoring opportunities are going to be at more of a premium for Furtah Prep. So when you can go to the stripe and knock a few down, it behooves you to take advantage of that trip. Shot too strong there. Estimate with the rebound. Pass ahead. And the easy lay-in, number 21, it's Ian Hardy. Hardy makes it a 5-2 contest. Another turnover. Pass broken up. Joksic got a hand on it. Nice bounce pass inside. It was fumbled initially there by Emmanuel Brown. He was able to corral it in time to draw the foul. Emmanuel Brown will take his second trip to the free throw line. You see head coach there, David Whitley, for Furtah Prep. If it's one thing his team has been pretty good with here so far is, even though they haven't established much of an offensive rhythm, they are doing a good job of getting to the free throw line, giving themselves an opportunity there. And you also got to give them credit because even though Berkmar has missed some shots, it's a 5-3 ball game. So it's not like Berkmar has come off and gotten out to the races. Jay Estime's ears must have been burning as he splashes the mid-range J to make it 7-3. Easy steal. Estime gonna finish this one. Look like he got caught in an in-between spot. Didn't know whether he wanted to dunk it or lay it up. I myself, I've never had that problem. I always knew from the get-go a layup was the only option, so I didn't really have to worry about that problem. Estime got caught there. We'll see if they can make up for it, get those points back. He missed a 2, so he'll go for a 3. Can't get it to go. Rebound going to be pulled down there by Joksic. Furtah Prep trying to spread this thing out a little bit. Now they'll try to get it inside. Here's Brown. Patience being shown on this possession. Berkmar, they've been opportunistic here in this game, going for the steals when they can get them. But this possession, they're moving their feet, playing good D. That's a tough call right there. Looked like Estime just moved his feet. I didn't really see a hand check. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the call was there. Well, I know it was a foul call, but I'm not sure what the rationale was. I think Coach Greg Phillips having a tough time being able to see the value in it also. Phillips coming, established his own track record there at Berkmar, but coming out of that Eddie Martin coaching family tree. Former assistant under Eddie Martin, who's now at Buford High School, but won several state championships at both Norcross and at Greater Atlanta Christian prior to moving over to Buford. Phillips has went on and done his own thing. Jesse McMillan, current Norcross coach. Also another notable spinoff there on the coaching side of things under Eddie Martin's direction. Here at the free throw line, number 2, this is Diego Jerez Alba. November 19th, 21st, and 22nd, join us here on SUVtv for the Jared Cook Classic. So we'll bring you 3 days worth of games. And the first day opens with 4 and 5 apiece on day 2 and day 3. Green Forest in that event. One of 5 teams ranked in the top 25 in the country right here in the Atlanta area. The other 5 being Wheeler High School, Pebblebrook, Norcross, and as I've already mentioned, Green Forest. Some key commitments here in Georgia over the course of this past week. On the Pebblebrook side of things, Colin Sexton commits to the University of Alabama, and Coach Avery Johnson. Mentioned Norcross and their rankings. They're in the top 25. Rayshawn Hammonds became the first Norcross basketball player to sign a basketball scholarship there at Georgia, as Hammonds will go down there to Athens. We've already got Lorenzo Carter, but he's playing between the hedges for the football team there at Georgia. Called for the push off there is number 21, Ian Hardy, as he'll be subbed out. Not a very smart play by Hardy, as he shoved the defender with 2 hands. Easy call for the official. Got to show a better temperament there. In the heat of the game, the adrenaline gets going. You know, that's one thing, but that kind of frustration foul and just lack of discipline in game 1, what are you going to do when things really get heated? I got a feeling what Al Durham's looking to do. Runs the floor, finishes that one with the 2-hand jam and makes it 10-4. Furtah Prep doing a good job up to this point, just kind of uglying this game up a little bit. They're not trying to do that on the offensive end, but on defense, hey, it's whatever's clever. They're just looking to slow down Berkmar as much as possible. As we take a look there, yet another steal by Berkmar. They get it to young Durham for the 5-slammer jammer. The future Hoosier getting it done there in the open floor. Another steal, Durham off to the races. He got Estime running with him, kicks it to him. And money in the bank. Some of the potential production for this Berkmar guard unit coming to fruition there, as you see Durham getting that thing from point A to point B in a hurry and finding Estime. Those guys have done that a ton here over the past few months alone, not to mention playing with each other for the past couple years. Here's that part of the game that you're kind of worried about. You knew Furtah Prep came out. They weren't just going to lay down, but it gets to a point to where we'll call it the knife to a gunfight dynamic. And that's no disrespect to Furtah Prep. I'm just merely talking personnel versus personnel on paper. And this is going to be a game where they do not have a very big margin for error. Does Furtah Prep. So the question is going to be, now that Cooks, Estime, and Durham are appearing to warm up a little bit, are you able to match that if you're Furtah Prep? Even if it's not a match, can you do enough to compensate for the weapons that they have on the offensive end and make sure this game doesn't get out of hand? Because if it turns into a score fest, a shooting fest, it remains to be seen whether Furtah Prep can match that. But with all that being said, with the scenario we just described, they're only down 9 here as we get ready to wrap the first quarter up. So again, they're not coming here with an already defeated attitude. They're right here within striking distance. We'll see how both teams finish this first quarter. Foul on the play. Number 4 with it, that's Julius Reynolds. Durham to Cooks. Cooks trying to muscle his way through. He's met by Emmanuel Brown. Access denied on the inside. And they're looking to adjust the clock. They put a little bit more time on it. They'll add 0.8 of a second. They'll throw that one up. That should be good if it goes, and too strong off the glass. First quarter in the books. Berkmar 13, Furtah Prep 4. We'll see what happens in the second quarter here at the Georgia Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic.
Every day is another beginning. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream.
You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to get out of your neighborhood. You're not supposed to believe you can do it. Yeah, you were told you were going to be one of the greats. But they told so many others the same thing. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to pass the ball so much. Or play like a giant. No matter what.
And welcome back here to the newly renovated McEachern High School Gymnasium, also known as Loving Good Arena. How Durham feels like he has a mouse in the house. Instead of backing him all the way down, he'll shoot the fall away jumper and get it to fall. Some of the common threads that you'll see between Estime, Cooks, and Durham is that even though they can shoot the 3 ball at a good clip, all 3 of those guys take advantage of the mid-range. Ball last touch by Berkmar will be thrown in by number 4, Wagner. Quick feet and hands by Cooks, couldn't keep it in bounds. Emmanuel Brown wants the ball inside. It's too cluttered over there to get it into him. Give me that, says Durham. Patriots off and running, and one. Durham, a speedster there in the open floor. You can see him very opportunistic. Once he's getting a rebound or a loose ball, he's looking to push. He's done a good job of making decisions, getting Estime and Cooks involved. This time reads the situation and takes it himself. Makes good on the back end with the 3-point play the hard way. Tough situation and a turnover ensues. 14-point game. Estime looking to add to the lead. As you're seeing Berkmar do a great job of getting downhill here over the past few minutes. That will send Jay Estime to the line. Estime has gotten better year after year. Really had a pivotal year. He's at Berkmar now, but a year when he was at Peachtree Ridge playing alongside Aaron Augustin, really showed his ability to knock down three-pointers. Parlayed that into an overall improved skill set with work there at Berkmar, as well as with Stampede. Makes good on the second free throw, and now it is 20-4. We're seeing a transition for some of what we talked about in the first quarter. As we're now here in the second. When Berkmar turns it up, can Furtah turn it up with him? The turn up has begun. Cooks with the easy lay-in, 22-4. As this thing has ugly early potential, turnovers will not help the cause. Basket made there by number 24, Spin Sumahoro. That one rolls around and counted. A much-needed bucket scored there by Emmanuel Brown. If it's one Achilles heel for Berkmar, is going to be that size on the inside. They don't have a ton. Brown, for the most part, has a slight size advantage over anyone that they can throw in the post against them. So your Furtah prep got to take advantage of that win, and as often as you can. Three from the corner. Estime, says Mr. Official. My apologies. You mind getting that net for me? Appreciate you. 27-6, under the 6-minute mark. Your Furtah prep, you have to stop crossing that half-court line, burying yourself in that corner. You got two Berkmar defenders there in the half-court line and sideline, serving as defenders as well. Cooks over to Estime. He's been the hot hand here over the past couple minutes. Durham goes up and tries to finish with authority there on Luka Joksic. I'd say Durham, he went up with some intentions on that one. You know, he didn't go up with layup intentions. The jump step, no soup on the inside. I respect it, Joksic. I respect it. Got a couple high flyers, some athletes, obviously, here on the Berkmar side, but Joksic did not intend being a YouTube victim here in this one. Strong drive, strong foul. Durham goes to the free throw line. I think they call a lane violation. Durham might have just stepped over the line. We approach the 5-minute mark here in the second quarter. Good box out there by Estime. He's got Durham to his right. Cooks all by his lonesome. Ball meets him over there. And another triple knocked down by Cooks. I believe that's his second of the contest. 31-6. That's some of what I talked about in terms of Berkmar being able to move the ball around as long as the ball is not sticking in one place. And again, stellar defense by your opponent can change things, but for the most part, if Berkmar is moving the ball and taking advantage of the weapons at their disposal, and Cooks Estime and Durham. It's going to create opportunities. Right now, they're just defending, getting off to the races, as that bucket is going to prompt a Furtah Prep timeout. It's 33-6. We'll be back with more Georgia's Elite Eight Tip-Off Classic.
You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to play 40 minutes and make up 40 feet. You make a defensive play, a defining moment in your career. You're not even supposed to be here. And yet, here you are.
Back here at Georgia's Elite Eight Tip-Off Classic, 33-6, a tough state of affairs. It's what Furtah Prep finds themselves in, trying to get things going on the offensive end. Berkmar not making it easy, a little shaken up. Looked like he came down awkwardly there on that right leg. Did number 2, Diego Jerez Alba, for Furtah Prep. He's going to tighten up the shoe and shake it off. So you don't like to see the initial grimace, but if it's one of those things, you can tighten the shoe up and keep it moving. That's definitely the lesser of two evils. 33-8 is your score as we approach halftime. Bounce pass by Durham. Access denied on the inside there on that intended layup for Uba Ezigbo. Credit to Luka Joksic, number 20, for Furtah Prep. You have Berkmar able to beat their defender off the dribble on a regular basis, and Joksic has had to be the next man up. That stands between Berkmar and the rim on quite a few occasions here so far. He hasn't backed down. But despite that intensity, Berkmar still in the driver's seat in this one. Now Durham will get a breather, and Jay Estime checks in. Estime thought about it instead, makes the extra pass over to Cooks. That one came off a little flat. Substitution pattern-wise, if you're Coach Phillips, it's got to be nice to have 2-3 guys that can run your offense on the floor for you. Durham and Cooks being the first two options. Estime can play that role if need be, but if you want to give Durham a breather, you feel like the offense is in good hands with Cooks at the point. Coming in for Furtah Prep, it'll be number 10, Andres Warsham. Couple members of the media here on site. Got Sean Williams with On the Radar Hoops. Horace Naismith with All Metro Hoops. Berkmar continues to run. Cooks the assist. Layup by number 21, Ian Hardy. Lead now 27. Getting fingertips on it initially was Cooks. Thought he would finish what he started. Couldn't get a clean handle on it. Furtah Prep offensive board. That shot's no good. Furtah Prep trying to break past the 10-point mark. They will have to wait until the next possession to do so. Coach David Whitley for Furtah Prep. I'm sure he'll try to use this game as a teaching moment. Pulling up from the arrowhead there is Estime. Can't get it to go. Saw Jalen Pugh of Cartersville. He knocked down a few three-pointers from the Love and Good Arena arrowhead there on the floor. I'm not sure if I was the only one that used to do this, but when growing up playing NBA Live or 2K, whatever the case may be, for me, if I was up big in the game, I wanted to hit a big shot, it always meant something to pull a three from the logo, or if the floor is named after somebody. The little image there that's usually about 4 or 5 feet beyond the three-point line. That was always the cherry on top with a big victory. But you see players pulling from that point here throughout today's action like it's no problem. It's Mark Chevelis Tirada at the line. Furtah Prep trying to avoid chasing 30 here. Every team has to hit free throws, but if you're Furtah Prep, they are mandatory. If I'm Coach Whitley, I need every free throw we can get, fellas. That's what I'm emphasizing to my team. Extra pass made, wide open shot for Estime. Call that a layup. That wide open. Ticky-tack foul call by the official. So 10 team fouls on both sides. So in the penalty for the remainder of the second quarter. The Red Sea parted, trying to go in and flush it there was Ian Hart. He couldn't get it to go. And we're going to have an offensive foul stepping up and taking the charge there was Zach Cooks. Mentioned Rayshawn Hammonds of Norcross. He and Zach Cooks went head-to-head a few times in that Skill Factory All-Star Madness game that we covered a few weeks ago. Then it was more about competing, but making sure nobody got hurt for the upcoming basketball season. But that rivalry will be a lot more intense during this high school season as you see Cooks taking the contact and finishing. And don't go by the airport test with Cooks. You think he's just a little shooter. You get a little physical with him, you're going to be able to knock him off of his path. Doesn't mind taking contact. Committed to play college basketball at NJIT. And he's a player that can have a bigger impact than what that initial eye test might suggest. Uses that ability to knock down that jump shot to create a lot of his offense. By the time you lean one way, he's to the rack. Estime, that's a contested two. So what? About a foot and a half behind the free throw line. As Berkmar is approaching the 50-point mark here to end the second quarter, and a good portion of the last few minutes, Al Durham has been able to sit back, garner up some electrolytes there on the bench, and just kind of survey the land. The Atlanta area, obviously, SUVtv, we're a little biased. We're based here in the ATL, even though we cover hoops across the country. Hard to find a better place to be high school basketball-wise than the Atlanta area right now. 5 top 25 teams. 5 teams ranked in the top 25 in the country. You can ride around 285 and run into, 5 top-ranked teams. Show me another city that can say that right now. And I'm speaking from the experience of a Hoosier. My colleagues kid us all the time that we think we invented basketball in Indiana. I won't say we invented it there, but I say we know a little something about it. But Atlanta has become a high school hub for basketball. Inside joke with one of my producers, we always have these regional basketball beefs. They're out of South Carolina, hanging their hat on Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett coming out of that area. Not a bad two people to hang a hat on. Ray Allen retiring recently over the past few weeks. Talk about a great career. What I loved about his is that, you saw the older Ray Allen, the elder statesman, but a lot of people forget about the old Ray Allen. He wasn't just three-pointers. Ray Allen he put some guys in posters and could probably still play about another 3 to 5 years in the NBA if he wanted to, but he's got the rings, got the shooting stroke, and he's going to take it easy. Berkmar is not doing that with Furtah Prep right now, 49-12. As even though Furtah Prep plays hard, they have to be looking forward to that breather at halftime. Try to regroup. They'll continue to fight. I'm not sure what they can do differently in the second half, but getting a second to catch your breath can only help. And they can do just that. Intermission here at the Georgia Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic. Berkmar feeling good, feeling great. We'll be back with more after halftime.
Every day is another beginning. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream.
If you want a used vehicle, but you also want peace of mind, you want a Ford certified pre-owned vehicle. Because every Ford CPO vehicle is given a rigorous 172-point inspection by Ford factory-trained technicians. From the radiator to the transmission, to the engine, to the air conditioning. And every Ford CPO vehicle is backed by Ford with 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty coverage. Plus 12-month, 12,000-mile limited warranty coverage. Ford certified pre-owned. A car that's inspected by Ford and backed by Ford. So what does that mean to you? Relax. It's covered.
I got a high ankle sprain going for a rebound.
Injuries are part of playing.
I got hit catching a pass and broke my collarbone.
So it's good to know that the sports medicine doctors, therapists, and athletic trainers at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta are experts at treating young athletes. If your child suffers any kind of sports-related injury,
I got hit and dislocated my shoulder.
bring him to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to get out of your neighborhood. You're not supposed to believe you can do it. Yeah, you were told you were going to be one of the greats. They told so many others the same thing. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to pass the ball so much. Or play like a giant. No matter what. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to play 40 minutes and make up 40 feet and make a defensive play, a defining moment in your career. You're not even supposed to be here. And yet, here you are.
Ready to get the second half rolling. We are underway here at the Georgia's Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic. Furtah Prep going against Berkmar, and they have their work cut out for them here in the second half as Berkmar has a commanding advantage. Here's Durham taking off and just laying it in. Almost hit his forehead on the rim, so just went ahead and laid it in. Should be relatively fresh legs for Durham as he was able to sit for the majority of the second quarter. They got out to an early lead, and Coach Phillips had a chance of just being able to sit his best player for a few minutes. Meanwhile, Jay Estime and Zach Cook picked up the slack. Estime another triple. He's got a 20-piece nugget. Just a minute, not even a full minute into the third quarter. Estime. Mentioned his three-point shooting is one of his best assets. He's provided exhibits A to about G or H so far. Nice little turnaround. Luka Jokic, like how he's approached the game. He's worked his tail off on the defensive end. The score might not suggest it, but he's been putting in work. Nice little splash there on the baby jumper. Ball was deflected. Official asked for help, and it looks like Emmanuel Brown couldn't pull those hands back. When that ball is deflected, it's always that weird few milliseconds to where you're trying to pull your hand back if you can't grab it cleanly, but it's always harder to pull it out of there. Brown is the one who touched it last. Cooks can't get the triple to go. Jokic with the rebound. Up next after this, it'll be Hillgrove versus Walton, and the nightcap will be McEachern versus Miller Grove. I'm looking forward to the atmosphere at that one. McEachern, some very good young talent in Sharif Cooper, point guard, Isaac Okoro, Babatunde Akinbola. And on the Miller Grove side of things, they'll bring in Tay Hardy, one of the more underrated scorers in the state. He's joined by Jalen Mason, an up-and-comer there in that Miller Grove program. Had to watch and learn the ropes last year, and now we'll have more of a role there for Coach Rasul Chester, who's taking over for Sharman White there at Miller Grove, with Coach White taking a position there on Ron Hunter's staff at Georgia State. So that'll be the 8 p.m. game, the nightcap. Jokic with the rebound. Told you, man, I like the way Jokic is playing. Couldn't get that layup to go. Estime to the rack. Estime cooks Durham, and not just jump shooters. Pass inside to Jokic. Easy lay-in. Great job of sealing off Estime. They got it to him, and he laid it in. Durham going to pull up. Ice cream. Under the 5-minute mark here in the third, another steal. Estime will push, he'll try a three-pointer. Why not? The Berkmar three-party continues, and I don't even think we're seeing it at full tilt just yet. Jokic wanted it inside, pass too tall. They're on the entry. Durham continuing to run like a gazelle, fouled there along the sideline. Estime will try another triple. Yeah, might be a good idea to go over the top of any screens, setting that man's general vicinity. I got to run him off that three-point line, at least make him finish a contested two, with Jokic serving as that last reinforcement before he gets to the cup. But Estime sits at 26 unofficially right now. On the floor for Berkmar, number 5, Lloyd Axum, Al Durham, Uba Ezigbo, Zach Cooks, and Estime. We have a Berkmar substitution, number 4, Julius Reynolds, checking in for action. 3 minutes, 46 seconds, and counting remaining here in the third. The inaugural Georgia's Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic. The take by Durham, couldn't get the shot to go, but Hellman and lunch pail bucket on the inside. Uba Ezigbo. Durham and company still trying to defend like they're not up by the nearly insurmountable cushion that they're up by. At this point in the season, you're just ready to play against a team other than yourself. So Berkmar not letting off the gas. Furtah Prep was able to break that one up. It'll go off of Durham and back to Furtah. Under 3 minutes left to play here in the third. Good take and one. That's number 4, Luke Wagner. So Luke will go to the line. Speaking of Luke, I'm not sure who's checked out that Luke Cage series on Netflix. It's worth it. Nice little series, soundtrack, pretty solid as well. Cooks with the layup. You might ask, why in the world are you talking about a Netflix series in a basketball game? I say if it's a 40-plus point game, I should be given a little bit of creative liberty to bring in some additional topics. Wouldn't you agree? 22-69, Estime trying to get another triple. Can't get it to go, but nobody boxes out young Julius Reynolds, so he helps himself to a bucket. Here's Wagner. Left that one just short. Cooks with the rebound, ahead to Durham. Durham being challenged by Brown. Well, thought there would be a challenge, but Brown letting wisdom prevail. Durham was ahead on that one, just letting them go ahead, get the easy flush. He was already in stride before Cooks had already brought that ball in, 22-73. A lot of interesting storylines here in Georgia high school basketball this year. And one thing I have to mention, I forgot to include Westlake High School in the top 5, or the 5 schools in the Atlanta area that are ranked in the top 25 in the country. Cannot forget about state champion Westlake. They are the reason that the Pebblebrook Falcons, as good as they have been over the past couple years, they're the most recent reason why Pebblebrook is not champion. They lost in the state title game to Westlake last year. Prior to that, it was Jalen Brown and the Wheeler Wildcats who defeated them in the championship game. Questionable call late in that game. Looked like Derek Obeidi and Harper had converged on Jalen Brown to get the stop. Instead, Brown went to the free throw line and knocked down what he needed to defeat Pebblebrook and get Wheeler their state title a couple years back. But it's that same Pebblebrook that will be a state title contender this year as well. I mentioned Colin Sexton, known as Young Bull around these circles. Poised to have a great season. He'll be joined by Elias Harden and Drew Drennan, who have transferred over there to Pebblebrook. Harden from Sandy Creek, Drew Drennan from East Jackson. good thing about basketball in Georgia and the Atlanta area specifically, beyond those teams that have made the top 25 rankings, you still got a lot of good teams that are going to be the iron that sharpens some of the iron that goes out and competes on the national stages. When you look at some of the top tier events that Atlanta teams will be playing in this season, not just out of state, but some very good events here within the city limits as well. Specifically the Holiday Hoops Giving event. That'll be coming up November 25th and 26th here on SUVtv. So be sure to join us for the action. Coming up on the final 40 seconds or so of the third quarter. Pass broken up. Julius Reynolds will pass it ahead. Pass nearly intercepted. Is tipped away. Reynolds does his best safety impression to pick that one up. Here's Durham. Flying high and laying that one in. The assist by Cooks. Coming up on the final possession here of the third quarter. That'll be good if it goes, and just short there for Cooks. The Berkmar effort and point total have been anything but short here in this one. Georgia Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic. We'll be back with fourth quarter action. Sending you out with a familiar sight here so far in this game. Cooks drops the dime, and Durham, I'll just jump in the air, figure out what I'll do with it about halfway up. This time it's the lay-in. We'll be back here at McKeecher. Fourth quarter underway here at Georgia's Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic. And Berkmar with a steady dose of defense and buckets here in this one. I'll tell you what, Julius Reynolds, I like his energy off the bench, as he has been harassing ball handlers ever since he checked into the contest. Good sign for good teams is when your starters are on the bench getting some minutes, minimizing the drop-off. There has been no drop-off with Reynolds there on the floor. Attribute that turnover to a broadcaster's jinx. He's taking care of the ball since he's been in. Turnover there on that last possession. So I think we might have seen the last of Zach Cooks, Al Durham, and Jay Estime in this one, in this shortened fourth quarter. Furtah prep, you know, there's still some positives to be taken from this game, not from a, you know, a fake moral victory standpoint, but the best thing you can do when you come out, you get hit in the mouth there with a particular matchup, come out, learn from it, and take it out on not just that next team, just over the course of a season. You're able to learn from going up against an opponent like Berkmar. They're a little bit tougher than the average team that they're going to face there on the GISA side of things. It's not basketball, but on the gridiron side of things, we broadcast Pinecrest Academy football, and they're a single A school. They actually played 2 7A schools right out of the gate. First one was South Forsyth High School. It was a running clock in the fourth quarter. They got beat 52-0 there in their first game of the season. But they set it up that way so that when the clutch stretch of their season came up and they were facing other single A teams, those first 2 games against 7A squads really helped prepare them for the brunt of their schedule. If you're Furtah Prep, you're looking to do the same thing with this loss. Under the 5-minute mark. Okay, that's hustle right there. As number 4, Luke Wagner, he had gotten that ball out of bounds. He was a good three steps out of bounds, still trying to throw that one off the defender. There's been no giving up by Furtah Prep. Here's Reynolds, who'll try 3 from the corner. Can't get the shot to go. Rebound pulled down by Diego Alba. The assist by Tirada. And the lay-in there by number 3, Lazar Saravich. Answered back by a bucket for Ben Sumahoro. Looking forward to the McEachern versus Miller Grove matchup. That's set to start at 8 p.m. Both teams' first game of the season. Miller Grove dropped an exhibition game to Gainesville a few nights back. So they went out there to Hall County to play. That Gainesville team, KJ Buffin and company, will be a team to keep an eye on over the course of the season. And I think it's a good game to play coming into this matchup versus McEachern. It wasn't a blowout. It was a game that they dropped, and a game where Gainesville was able to use the type of pressure that Miller Grove has built this program on. They were able to use that to really thwart the scoring ability for Miller Grove for the majority of that game. So we'll see the takeaways and the adjustments that Miller Grove has made for tonight's matchup versus McEachern. Calling for it inside. They get it to him, and he finishes. Uba Ezigbo. Rebound by Hardy. Hardy coast to coast with the finish. Ian Hardy, the 6'3" sophomore. Get it inside, 2 defenders there along the baseline. High degree of difficulty. Shot still knocked down by Emmanuel Brown. Penalty situation there, is that the 7th team foul there against Berkmar. So we'll have free throws coming here for Diego Jerez Alba. Speaking of Miller Grove, if you haven't had a chance to check out the SUVtv documentary, they're on the Miller Grove team last year. Documentary entitled Reclaiming the Crown. It not only looks at the program's tradition, but it's a behind-the-scenes look at their run to reclaim their title in the 2016 playoffs after having their streak of 6 straight state championships snapped there in the 2015 playoffs. Coming up on the final 2 minutes of the contest. Nearly stolen. They'll keep possession. Looks like that was the last touch by Berkmar, so it'll go over to Furtah Prep. Defense played there by Diego Alba. Nice little jumper there, hand in face, Lazar Serovich. Two free throws coming here for Greg Filson. Lead 50 plus as we approach the final minute. Furtah saves it, but unfortunately for them, right to Filson. Whipping the ball around. There's Berkmar, and the end result is a bucket for Kayshawn Swan. What I liked about that is that you still have a Berkmar bench that's engaged even though they're up 50 points. They were cheering before that shot had even went in just because of the ball movement that you see with their second team. So beyond there not being a drop-off when it comes to the point total, you got a savvy bench and an engaged bench there for Berkmar, just being able to recognize that ball movement regardless of the shot. Now, the shot happened to go in, so that was just a, the cherry on top of that particular sequence. But those are good signs, good body language if you're Coach Greg Phillips here for Berkmar. Last year, Berkmar was having a good season and looking forward to a playoff run. Their road to the championship, or intended road to the championship, it ended right here in this very gym at McEachern. A 70-49 loss there in the second round. That's history now, but Berkmar looking good here on the same floor where their state run was ended just last season. Elbow jumper is good for Julius Reynolds. Reynolds was already getting some pretty decent minutes in this game. I think he's played his way into some more minutes with the way that he's competed on both ends, but also has made the most out of his opportunities there on the floor. That's going to be an and one there for Furtah, though, as Cherovich will head to the line. Berkmar, if they don't score another point, they put up 90 here in this one, and that's with their starters sitting for the entire fourth quarter and 2 minutes knocked off of the fourth quarter. Last few seconds of the contest, and that will do it. So Berkmar came in and got what they came here to get, and that's their first win of the season over Furtah Prep. I'm Marcus Burnett. Thanks for joining us here for the Georgia Elite 8 Tip-Off Classic. Up next, Hillgrove versus Walton, and then after that, the nightcap, Miller Grove versus McEachern at 8 p.m. We'll be back with more here on SUVtv.
Every day is another beginning. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream. Gonna make my move, gonna live my dream.